Well, it's time for me to jack my consciousness into the internet and become the system and break myself.
You're a calcium offering wonder spirit.
My latest book is a sci-fi novel called Gunquat, the gun that shoots kumquats.
And I want to preface that I'm not a bad guy, but this is why the dinosaur had to die.
The world needs to see this.
Hello, hello. It is another episode of the TCGS. No, it's the CGP minicast.
Yeah.
CGP minicast and... Wait, Forrest, do you hear that?
No.
Do you...
Wait. Yeah.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that?
I do.
Shoop dee boop
Oh,
dee
shoop,
shoop dee boop dee. It's the island rhythm. The island rhythm is in our hearts because today we are featuring Riley Soloner, fictional character Riley Soloner, Vacation Jason himself.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the Canon.
Oh yeah. I mean, come on. I'm Emily Pineapple, not his island girl. His island girl's twin sister, Emily Pineapple. Yes, that was the joke we came up with when I was originally like, I'm gonna be Emily Pineapple. I am Emily Pineapple now. Yeah. I've changed all of my legal forms.
Yeah, no, it's all pineapple all the time.
All pineapple all the time. I'm hella excited for this episode. He's going to be doing CLON, episode 8 of CGP, on August 14th, 2019. He has, of course, said that this as CLON, but we have seen it portrayed in media as C.L.O.N.
Yeah, that has been the written form of CLON.
Which means that, I mean, as we've seen from him, he's a big fan of acrostic poems.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't know if it's an acrostic poem. What do I mean?
An acronym?
Acronyms? Yes.
Yeah. I thought acrostic poem sounded like a more sophisticated read, so I was just going to let that sit.
It sounds like third grade to me.
Such a wordsmith. Wow, that was a good poll. $10 word.
But yeah, we're a Vacation Jason household.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
would say
we are definitely a Vacation Jason household.
We've have multiple times shown up to Chris Gethard things dressed as Vacation Jasons.
Yes, which Gethard even.
Well, I wore my grass skirt, but I mean, I was pretty indistinguishable from like any other Vacation Jason.
And I was Vacation Jason Voorhees, where I had the Hawaiian shirt and swim trunks and the Jason Voorhees mask.
That was a good Halloween.
It was a great Halloween.
Oh, yeah. I was Emily Pineapple, but with an arrow through her head.
It was the knife.
Oh, it was a knife through my head.
It was the butcher knife through the head. And I had a coconut that I was drinking out of through the holes in the Jason mask.
And Riley complimented your costume. That's the other reason why I'm really excited for today and to be profiling Riley, because he's notoriously super, super nice to fans and has been super, super nice to us.
Yeah, we were so excited. He's so nice. He's so friendly.
He emailed you out of the blue. I bought
Halloween Vacation.
Yeah, for the costume.
And
you were gonna blast it.
Yeah, and he saw that I bought it and he just was like, hey, thanks for buying Halloween Vacation. And I immediately just like freaked out and was like, oh my God, Riley emailed me.
Yeah, then we had to do a quick photo shoot of the costume
Yes.
at that point to send him. Yeah, exactly. We didn't even like reach out to him for validation on these costumes or our fandom. He like reached out to us to like hand us validation. And it was lovely.
It was magical.
It was magical.
Oh.
It was magical. So I'm really excited to profile him. Previously, we had been attempting to be like, we're going to give you a history of everything we can find on these people's illustrious careers.
Yeah.
And that's fucking possible for literally any of the people we've profiled.
Yeah, they're all very accomplished, and we flew too close to the sun and our wings burned.
Yeah, our wings burned, but thankfully we were able to turn the charred bones of our wings, which are now vestigial because, you know, all the feathers have burned up, into paddles. And we will paddle ourselves along in this metaphor to what we're going to do, what we're going to be doing moving forward.
Yes.
At least for this episode, and if I don't come up with anything better before the next one, the next episode, until I come up with something better.
We've used the wax from our wings to make 15 candles, one for each thing we're highlighting as a great thing that whoever's hosting CGP that week has made. And it's hard because, you know, I'm not vamping right now because of Emily Pineapple's laughter. That's not what's happening at all.
I'm a fan of puns. I'm a fan of puns and really like convoluted metaphors. Clearly. I'm so excited to do this thing on Riley Soloner. That's basically most of what he is as an artist.
I love the puns.
Puns and convoluted metaphors. That's the candy that he is. If he were a candy.
He'd be convoluted. Are we getting to the candy thing already?
No, he would definitely be the fruit flavored jujubes.
Really?
He's Vacation Jason.
Would he be all of them or just
All of the island flavors.
All of the island flavors, not just coconut, berry, lemon, and tree?
No, not at all. And we should
get going.
Get
probably.
the fuck started
Yeah.
on Riley Soloner. But yeah, we're gonna highlight 15 things that he has done in no particular order.
No.
That of the many things we consumed over the week, we really liked enough to take some notes on, and we're like, I don't know why you would care what we like of what he has done, but we're gonna share it, and that's the spirit of the Chris Gethard Show.
And that's the spirit of Ratliff.
Okay. So here is Riley Soloner's bio from his From what website?
That was from...
His Omnipop site?
No, that was for Rumrill. That was from RileySoloner.com.
Oh, sick. This is written by Riley. I'm not Riley Soloner. I know that I sound exactly like him. So you wouldn't know. But hi, this is Riley in Yeah, that's how you know. Hi, this is Riley in Queens, New York. I'm originally from Albany, California in the SF Bay Area. Woo! I like reading, going for walks, and relaxing in front of a hot computer. I played Vacation Jason on True TV's The Chris Gethard Show in my Upright Citizens Brigade theater sketch show, Vacation Jason's Island Flavors, and on my comedy rap EP, Coconut Berry Lemon Tree. In 2016, I boarded the Impractical Jokers cruise and stayed in character as Vacation Jason for 4 straight days. Can you imagine? Can you even imagine? Now in your heads, listen to that, but in Robbie Hoffman's voice. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm an accomplished comedy wrestler. I have performed and produced matches. New York. I'm gonna need some help, Forrest. Clearly,
I'm an accomplished comedy wrestler. I have performed and produced matches in New York City's top 2 comedic wrestling promotions, UCBW and Extremely Serious Wrestling.
Spelled with an X.
That is an important note. I have wrestled under the names Robot Riley, Clancy Doofus, Dusty Dangle, the Ex-Meister, and Sean from Michaels. My best feud was against a yellow beach towel. The towel won 2 out of 3.
I'm a graduate of the Barrow Group Professional Acting Program, directed by founding artistic directors Seth Barish and Lee Brock. And I have trained theatrical clowning.
I've trained in theatrical clowning.
Oh, thank you. So that wasn't me. That was the typo.
Yeah, it was a typo.
At Lincoln Center's Gene E. Taylor. With Lincoln Center's Gene E. Taylor. I'm so sorry.
I have been hired to act and be funny in internet videos for IFC, UCB Comedy, College Humor, The Flama, Comedy Central, Go 90, and Curve Cologne. I write and produce video content for my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RobotRiley. Check out my music video, Halloween Vacation, and the web series, Hi Riley.
Did we check out the web series Hi
Yeah, Hi
Riley?
Riley's good.
What was Hi Riley?
It's a number of short videos where towards the end Vacation Jason takes over and seizes control of Hi Riley because the ratings were down, or it's like the ratings were down, so Vacation. We need to.
Yeah, I don't remember watching that, but
was
apparently
funny.
Riley thinks you should check it out. But given the success with which we have conveyed to you his bio, I don't know about us.
It is funny. You should check it out. We don't have it in our 15, but he makes so much stuff that like some stuff had to not
Forgive us.
make it.
But yeah, the additional info that we wanted to include was that Riley's dad worked for Interstellar Propeller, who makes the beanies with the little propeller on top.
I just love it. I love that he has that a tie to that sort of iconic comedic hat.
Like, yeah, beautiful, wonderful things.
His-
He also went to Camp Win a Rainbow
Yes.
as a child, which as Bay Area natives, like, I'm pretty sure kids in my like fancy school went to.
Really?
Yeah. I
I-
just know the names of it. I think my cousin might have gone, but I'm a terrible cousin
Oh,
and I need to
cool.
like reach out to him and ask.
I hadn't even heard of Camp Win a Rainbow.
Really?
No.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, Riley Soloner's frequent collaborators are of course Chris Gethard and David Blovband, the human fish himself, who's a filmmaker. And once you know that, now I look at him and I'm like, of course. I don't know why. It's in his face. In addition to working together on TCGS, they also released a number of sketches as Soloner plus Blovband.
And some of those are going to be in our 15 that we're going through today. The first one that we have is I Am a Talk Show Host, which is from 2015. And it's described, well, we described it as a beautifully bizarre video with Riley as a talk show host that also featured Mimi and Jackie Jennings from TCGS. This was one of the Soloner and Blovband videos. And it's sort of, it's like if David Lynch shot the opening sequence of a talk show, like where you see the host in all the scenic New York locations to be like, oh, they're in New York. I didn't know that from them saying they're in New York all the time.
Yeah, except that he looks like a fucking robot.
Yeah.
Like a fucking robot clone. That was the first thing that I saw on his YouTube page, and I had literally only seen him as Vacation Jason previously. And momentarily as fictional character Riley Soloner.
Right. It's so good. It's like the Lynch comparison I think is really good. And Emily,
You came up with the Lynch comparison.
no, I know, but I think
So you're just gonna compliment yourself real quick.
yeah. Well, no, but like
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I
yes,
should just let you.
yes, I am.
It's
That's
late.
fair, but
we
also
spent a lot of time like rewatching his videos, and then the internet was down today. I'm just gonna make a bunch of excuses for why this isn't as perfect as I wanted it to be in
that's
my
fair.
mind.
We wanted to be especially good for this episode.
And instead, we're gonna be especially bad.
We're gonna be real loose.
We're all loosey goosey.
But yeah, it's really good. There's a lot of surreal stuff. And Emily, you had a very specific reason you liked it that you wanted to
I
share.
did?
Yeah. It's in the notes. I wrote down why you loved it.
Oh, I didn't scroll down enough. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I love it because like at first you have no idea what it's gonna be. It's just like I am a talk show host, and I'm like, okay, like a lot of the Chris Gethard Presents people have done like mock-up talk shows. So I assumed like, of course, like, oh, this must be something that he is playing with. But then it's just like this absurd nonsense.
Yeah.
For example, the first segment is our host standing with food items while animal calls happen. So he's like holding a ho-ho in a random New York location, and there's just dogs barking. And he just has this like dead-eyed stare into the camera.
And I loved that. Might be my favorite part. But I also liked when the audience is like, they're like zombies, sort of like surrounding him and like desperate to get their hands on him through the glass.
Yeah, there's some great shots like that. Mr. Blovband. Fuck,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Because
Fuck. Shoot me a movie. You're probably like, bitch, I'm trying. Someone pay me. But yeah. And he... Well, The other segment I really liked was when he was like meeting with the audience members and he just kind of like puts his hand like on their head.
Yeah, that was really
like
good.
a creepy robot cult leader.
Yeah, that was amazing. It did remind me of his milkman character that we're going to get into a little bit later.
Definitely. But we're going to get right into thing number 2. Andrew Stinger, aka the Zyper, Break the System 2014, which is Andrew Stinger's ad campaign to help him get elected as New York mayor. Because the city needs a technological enema. It does.
I love that line because it immediately reminded me of Jack Nicholson's Joker when he says, "This city needs an enema."
No, it needs a technological enema.
That's why he's the Joker for our modern age. Sorry, Heath Ledger. Get out of here. It's Andrew Stinger.
Yeah, but so Riley had... Okay, so I feel not as bad. I thought that I would feel like a dumbass, like jumping on this like episode and being like, I had no idea that Riley did more than Vacation Jason, or even that he was into science fiction and all of these crazy things. And I was like, oh, like I'm the dumbass. I should have assumed that he should have done more things. But then I listened to the Teens Talkin' TCGS podcast with Riley on, and it was the first one I'd ever heard, and it was absolutely delightful. But one of them was like, I don't know why, but I assumed when I was going to see like you in an improv show that it would be Vacation Jason. And they're like, wow. It's like, how would he do in a Herald? And Riley's like, fucking terrible.
Oh no, I can't imagine Vacation Jason in that strictly structured of a format.
But yeah, so I feel like less of a dumbass, but I was really, really excited. He's hella into like techno babble bullshit imagery, which I would like to think is like, oh, it's the Bay Area. We're like the seat of Silicon Valley and overrun with programmers. But like, I don't know, he could just be into sci-fi. He was in New York by the time it got like really intense here.
That's true. But I mean, either way,
it speaks to
us. It's so good. And it speaks to us. Yeah, it speaks to us because of that.
My favorite shot is he has a keyboard hooked up to a public phone, like a pay phone. Like, and he's like banging on it. Like he's like doing some kind of hacking into the payphone. I'm just like, yes, what is this bullshit?
I also loved it because hacking the phone is what like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak did first before they ran Apple. You could do hacks by having a thing that made the same sound your phone made when it pressed buttons. Mm-hmm. So you could get free calling, like free long distance, free click calling, like by spoofing the phone.
On a public phone?
Yeah. You would plug a little box into the phone, and then it had the keys, and you press the button, and it would go like beep, boop, beep, and would trick it because it was using the sound to tell what was dialed.
Whoa!
So it's like a really funny image, but also it's like, whoa.
That's some layers. But yeah, we should all be voting for Andrew Stinger for the mayor of NYC.
As someone who doesn't live in New York, I will definitely vote for Andrew Stinger.
Oh yeah, definitely. He knows how to. The other one was like he was playing hopscotch on the computer systems of the Pentagon before he could blow like
a snot bubble.
A snot bubble. I don't know what that is. I mean, I assume from what it's called,
it's what it is. Sounds like. Yeah.
But yeah. He's a keyboard jockey.
Andrew Stinger also appeared on episode 6 of the special without Brett Davis, Bananas.
Three Z's.
Most of the episode is about a punk band that is broken up, but Stinger is on as the only man the punk rock lead singer of the band respects. Mm-hmm. He calls on us to hashtag break the system, which is what you heard in the intro. And then he takes a drug that lets him use 100% of his brain, which was great and played on. The drug was called Lucy because of the Scarlett Johansson movie Lucy, where her superpower is she uses 100% of her brain. And the suggested remedy for like if it gets too much is to drink calcium fortified milk or go on a tropical vacation to cancel it out. I just love that. I just love it so much. And then he hacks the system, and we cut to a video where we get to see the results of hacking the system when he faces off against the evil Chilco computer. And it's so good.
Yep.
It's so good, but the typography on screen in that is very reminiscent of Break the System. And I think that like these are probably going to be some of the most clone-like.
Yeah, that's what people have been guessing. Old Paint Can posited
I think
on
it was on a thread
Reddit.
by Old Paint Can.
Yeah. It was either Old Paint Can or on a thread by him.
Yeah.
Old Paint Can has been doing what we've been doing at the end of the episodes, but like to the world. We're like, what do you expect from the next episode? Yeah. So if you have ideas and want to chat about it, go the fuck on Reddit.
It was Rex Deserved It who said
Ah,
that in a thread by Old Paint Can, where Old Paint Can was starting the discussion thread about what do you think CLON will be.
well, Rex deserved that call out, I think.
Then Andrew Stinger, aka the Zyper, Break the System, was written by Riley Soloner and shot by David Bloveband and edited by Riley Soloner. So this is yet another of their collaborations.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun editing in this and in a lot of his videos where they do that like shutter stop thing.
Yeah.
Changing the colors, like having it suddenly be negative or like all like red and then back to normal.
One of the shots in Break the System looks like it's shot from the Game Boy camera where you have all the like diagonal lines across it.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff. Oh my God, dairy affirmations.
Oh my God.
Dairy affirmations.
It's so good.
Have you been looking for absolution? Have you been looking for inspiration? Have you been looking for oneness?
I have.
I have one thing to say to you.
What's that?
Milk. Mother. I love knowledge. Milk.
Oh, I mean, I do love knowledge. That's sort of the whole thing as the keeper of the canon is knowing things.
Also, cows. Calcium offering wonder spirits.
I'd like to thank those holy beings for the milk they provide me and the knowledge.
Right? So this is a series of 10 or 11 super short videos on his YouTube page. They're about 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah, they're pretty short, all in all.
Yeah, and it's an entire series in itself. Each one appears, like the bullshit you see on Instagram where it's like papyrus and like an acronym and then a quote by Riley Soloner that's like super inspirational.
These are also a Soloner and Bloveband collaboration.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Bloveband shot these, and again, Riley wrote and edited them.
I almost feel like I could pick out Bloveband's cinematography now.
Yeah.
It's pretty particular
Yeah.
and it's pretty epic. It's
Yeah.
very Lynch. It's very David Lynch, very dreamy.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of lights.
Yeah, that's a good. I hadn't thought about that, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why they're such a good team.
Right?
Because they both like his shots suit like Riley's sort of surreal writing so perfectly.
Oh yeah. Like hella. And yeah, so as you watch through these videos, you start to get some doubts about Riley Soloner, the head of this milk cult, and what he might be doing, what danger you might be in if you join this milk cult. It's really good.
Yeah.
Just watch this. I don't want to spoil this at all.
No.
It's just like, I watched one of them and I'm like, oh, okay, like this is a cute character he's doing. And then we just like had them on and the YouTube started rolling through them and we're like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, wait, what the fuck?
The best viewing experience, I think, is watching the whole playlist in one go rather than watching them as shorter individual videos. They're all good on their own, but they really come together as a whole.
Yeah.
Just like milk.
And of course, number 4, the fourth thing. Oh,
Before we move on to the fourth thing, the milkman from Dairy Affirmations also appeared on 2 episodes of the special, which were Free Ice Cream and Traffic School Graduation. And then he also appeared on multiple episodes of number 4, which is...
number 4, The Chris Gethard Show.
We like that show.
Ba-dum-bum. Ba-dum-bum-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, he's Chris Gethard's arch nemesis and the world's #1 vacation expert, Vacation Jason. Many of you have probably seen, what is it? The Birth of Vacation Jason?
It's Vacation Jason Begins.
Which is the first time that he does Vacation Jason for the TCGS fam.
Yeah, it's him pitching the character essentially to the cast and crew. You can see Chris, members of the LLC, Shannon, I think, is filming it. Shannon's filming it on a flip camera, which really dates it specifically. And it's interesting seeing this like super early version of the character. He's the guy we know, which makes sense.
Yeah. Very fully formed.
And Riley had been doing this since he was a counselor at Camp Win a Rainbow.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
Yeah, he tells this story a couple of times on a couple of different podcasts. I think he even tells it on the Brett Davis one, Laundry Day, which is really good. Yeah, so he was a super obsessive fan of the Chris Gethard Show back when it was a stage show. And on the 1-year anniversary, they did like a tour, and Chris always wants to involve fans and was like, come along with us, Riley. And so he started doing the bit in the car on their like 12-day road trip all the way to LA. And, you know, people thought it was funny. And so he did it for them in that Jason Begins video. And then fucking did it. I mean, Geth didn't like it at first. Geth actually didn't like it at first, and then, you know, Joke didn't like it.
Yeah, in a Medium article, he says that it was, which is going to be linked in the show notes, he says that his initial pitch for a Vacation Jason was rejected. And Gethard said that the character is so annoying that, quote, if I tried to do it on the trip, I may be sent home or knocked out. So that was my light bulb moment. I wouldn't just be the fan of the show along for the ride. I would be the villain.
Yeah, and it was a wonderful moment for him, I think, in his
he ended
story.
Up performing a double encore in Austin. Like, Vacation Jason got over on that tour.
And he says he eventually won over his comedy heroes with the dumbest bit ever, which sounds like, you know, the inciting incident in his artist's journey, right?
I mean, yeah, I think that definitely seems like a significant moment in his artistic development, because that is a very good summation of Vacation Jason. But also, like, there is a goofiness underlying a lot of his characters that I think that points to very well.
Yeah. So he's also in Live in LA. There's a video of him doing it for the stage show on that road trip. It was like the end of that road trip. And it's cool to see him so fully formed.
But it's just interesting seeing part of the stage show.
Yeah.
Because it's so shrouded in mystery because it wasn't filmed that, like, I want to see it, but I can't.
Yeah.
And Gethard even mentions that on the first episode of Talkin' TCGS, which we'll get into later.
Yeah. Things I didn't know, like that other people have already done our podcast and better than us.
You mean that Riley... Okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into how he did our podcast better. On the Chris Gethard Show, he also appeared as 2 other characters. As mentioned, the Dairy Affirmations cult leader was in the episodes Flying Knives and Animal Heads with Mike Birbiglia and Marcus Monroe. He was also in Sandwich Night, Toast Protocol as same guy, and in Web CG. But then also, he played the Master of Terror on the episode How Would You Fight Me? I saw these ones all live when they were airing.
Oh, yeah?
So it was very confusing seeing him as not Vacation Jason. Because sort of Vacation Jason is so fully formed.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there is that initial, that must be his
thing.
Stage persona.
That must be like almost who he is as a person. I first listened to a podcast because I'm like, oh, I'm walking my cat. I can't watch a thing. And I was listening to a podcast with him on that we're going to talk about. And I was like, who is that? Which voice is his? Which of these voices is his? Because he didn't sound like Vacation Jason. He just sounded like a guy. I was like, I can't even. What's happening? Am I sure I'm listening to the right thing?
And
I was.
You were. But speaking of Vacation Jason, another thing we have to talk about, which he mentioned in his bio, is coconut, berry, lemon, tree.
Coconut, berry, lemon, tree.
This came out in 2013. It's like legitimately really good.
Yup.
It's very funny also. It's his mixtape, and he has 6 tracks that are all vacation anthems, and I think should always be the songs of the summer. And there's just like, there's so much great wordplay throughout this whole EP. Mm-hmm. Like on the song Fruit featuring Sunburn, he says, give me any type of fruit and I'll be saying, honey, do me. Which is just like, Oh, and then in the same song, I'm always smashing fruit, call me the Sledge-O-Matic, which is a Gallagher joke, because that was the hammer Gallagher used to smash watermelons. And I'm here for any rap song that has a Gallagher cut. I'm just like, oh yeah, now you're speaking to me, someone who watched way too many Gallagher VHS tapes as a child.
Island Girl is one of his jams. It's pretty cute because it's framed as like him saying that he's gonna serenade Tina.
Yeah.
But he can't stop but dreaming about his island girl, my twin sister, Emily Pineapple. Yeah.
Then there's the story of how he came up with Coconut Berry Lemon Tree, which has the great lyric, what does that even mean? I mean, it's beautiful, but I just don't understand. Which I think was honestly my first reaction to the Chris Gethard show.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, I'm drawn to this. I don't know what I think of it. But like, I need to keep watching. And
that's how you know. That's how you know that you have been chosen.
Yeah. And it very quickly turned into love, obviously. But like, there was that initial like, what? I'm entranced. Just like he was by Coconut Berry Lemon Tree. And the album, it just commits.
Oh, yeah.
So hard.
There's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Where he sees footsteps in the sand and it's the birthday boy Jesus.
Who has a tan.
But yeah, the album features Phil Jackson, TCGS's resident poet, Patrick Noth, and Amelia Wilson. And it was mixed and mastered by Patrick Noth and actually based on, I don't know, one of the podcasts I listened to him. It was recorded in this guy's apartment, like in his studio, in his apartment and or home. So awesome. Thank you so much, Patrick Noth. You made something fucking great.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then the album cover was by Andrea Streeter, who also has done a bunch of really cool TCGS fan art over the years, which I definitely encourage anyone to go seek out. It's all very good.
Does she have an Instagram?
She does, and I should have that.
Yeah.
Right here is what I should do. And
well, while you look that up, do you have it? No. Okay, well, I'll talk about Count Leonardo's House of Horror.
Go to twitter.com/Andrea Streeter. That's actually probably a better spot because that's where a lot of her art first gets posted before it makes it to Instagram.
Cool. Yeah, check her out. Count Leonardo's House of Horror, which is from a year, in which it's just him in front of a camera doing some fucking great ass puns. He is a person who wanted to both have a horrifying haunted house and a magnificent and terrorific dining experience. Yeah. Try our ham of the damned smothered in our homemade gravy.
He really feels like a 2008 precursor to the Master of Terror.
Oh, so this is 2008?
Yeah, that's my way of sneaking in that it was 2008.
So in 2008, he was making YouTube videos, comedy YouTube videos where he was doing like comedians. He was 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah, and I mean, YouTube was 3 years old at the time. So he's like super early on this.
And this is really fun. You can tell he's so good at puns. He said in one of the fucking podcasts I listened to, I can tell you where I was, but I can't tell you which one. He says, I think it was Teens Talking, that if in a rap battle with Chris Gethard, if it was off the cuff, Gethard would win. Gethard is real good at having dope rhymes off the cuff. But if they had time to pre-write it, Riley would definitely win. And I think that at least pun-wise, like, yes, like he would have my vote if the puns were that fantastic.
He definitely leans more into puns than Gethard, so I think that's fair.
You should bring your mummy to this restaurant.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Your daddy. Yeah.
In 2015, he was in a movie, a little short by Jackie Jennings, TCGS's own Jackie Jennings, where he played a Californian who had just moved to New York and is, as we all are, just a much more warm, open person, man.
Yeah. He just comes right to her door, offers her, a cup of sugar, a glass of milk. In fact, he's not even going to lock his door. She can just come right in.
And this is after dairy affirmations, so
Yeah.
the milk thing does immediately feel a little like, don't take that. Don't take that milk.
Don't do it. Don't
That
do
milk,
it.
that
Don't
milk,
do
don't
it.
take that milk.
We were watching it and we're just like, oh, it's like he's from Berkeley.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's playing like a weird, like, spiritual cult leader. He's like, here, take this rock. My spiritual advisor gave it to me, and like, just meditate on that.
I would not be surprised at all if he was drawing on people he
Literally knew from
'cause
Albany.
I know people like that, and I didn't grow up that far from Albany, so
Yeah. He described it as Berkeley light. No one's going to know these references
no,
outside of the Bay Area.
no. But you know what?
Is-
As people who have watched a lot of New York-based content, the shoe can be on the other foot once.
Is Royce the person who has the twin who's from here?
Yeah.
Okay, so Royce and his
Chris.
twin Chris, they've done Talkin' TCGS podcasts, and they've worked on the show, and they're like have been fans forever. But in one of their episodes, they said like, and I'm from San Francisco, ish, and that made me giggle because everyone from the Bay Area has described themselves as from San Francisco-ish.
It's very fun when you do that and then someone is like, oh, I'm from San Francisco. I was born in the Fillmore. Where were you from? And you're like, okay, so I'm actually from across the water.
Like, actually, I'm sorry. I'm not a San Francisco. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I feel like people from New York State like have a similar feeling.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I have no idea.
But yeah, speaking of California, I mean, there are people who speak Spanish all over. I just feel like it's like a second language here that I am an idiot and don't know yet. But yeah, he does white dude raps in Spanish for school credit in 2014 for the website Digital Network, created for and starring young Latinos and Riley Soloner, apparently, Flema. And yeah, he does just some great raps in Spanish about food, about anatomy. It's exactly what you would expect. It's like if the funniest kid in your class decided he was going to do extra credit by like rhyming a bunch of Spanish words.
There's a great verb conjugation breakdown in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so it's
like, yo come, I eat. Two comes, and like he's around like the store like pointing at the different people as they eat, like mugging in the background. Yeah.
Well, and he he kisses up to his professor in every single video as an attempt to like flatter her to get more extra credit, which I love. It's like such a great, perfect touch for selling this high school kid who's earnestly rapping.
Just like Señorita Teresa in mi corazón. Yeah, I watched that because I'm trying to take Spanish, and it kind of helped.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what helped me learn? Something I've wanted to learn? food brands from A to Z because I'm trying to learn the alphabet.
Oh.
And he gets us through the alphabet it's food bands. He gets band name puns crossed with food to get us through the alphabet. Mm-hmm. My favorite was Fine Young Cantaloupes, which is a reference to Fine Young Cannibals, the band who did She Drives Me Crazy. And this, unsurprisingly, is also a Blove Band and Soloner video because it is perfect, absurd comedy.
Shot beautifully. Sounds amazeballs.
Yeah, it's produced super well.
Yeah, yeah. And another Blove Band and Soloner joint, Two Stoners on the Couch, where they are two stoners on a couch. Blove Band is like in this one. They smoke out of highlighters and pencils that have joint and doobie like printed on a label maker and put on them. And they're like, check out our bongos. And they're like drumming on tubes that have real bong like labeled on them.
And when they use them, they sound like Darth Vader, which I loved. And they even mimic lightsabers at some point, and they just use the actual vroom, vroom, vroom.
They order pizza, which, David Blove Band said this one. He says, pizza is a flat circle. And I fucking died. Yeah. So that's a great little one. And then number 12, are all of these Soloner and Blove Band ones that
I'm really
we've
realizing
picked?
I'm realizing just how many of them are Blove Band and Soloner ones, so I'm glad we said he's a frequent collaborator.
Like, can you tell, like, whose cinematography we like best?
I think a lot of them are.
But also they're BFFs.
Yeah. And they're so good together.
They really are. On a podcast that we're going to talk about with them on an episode that we both listened to today, they talk about how, like, the human fish is a lot like when he and Riley are just hanging out. Like, they just fuck around like that. I thought that was adorable. I'm like, oh, they're friends.
Actually, should we just go into that podcast now? Because
should we jump through the list, possibly getting ourselves confused as we try and go back? Because it's already super late tonight and we're hella into this podcast already. This is going to be a long one. I'm so sorry, friends.
I mean, I just moved it up in the notes. So.
Oh, magic.
That was the secret. Okay.
Talking TCGS, the TCGS After Party, the podcast that did what we were doing, but better.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, it was Riley Soloner and Griffin Newman, who was on a bunch of Get Through episodes.
And the Tick.
I was going to say the Tick.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say Saddleby, Nate Hive, and the Tick.
So fucking good. So fucking good. I literally started watching that show the day that they canceled it. Like, I watched the first 2 episodes and then saw that they had canceled it.
I'm so sorry.
Cried.
Griffin also.
But Griffin was fucking amazing.
Griffin's also on the podcast Blank Check with David Sims, which did a bunch of podcasts around the prequels that are very good.
Ooh.
Star Wars prequels. Can't just say the prequels. Talking TCGS was the version that came out during the MNN run.
What, could you be talking about The Hobbit?
Yeah.
What other prequel? Okay. So yeah, it came out during the MNN run.
It ran from, the first episode was recapping Scare the Shit Out of Bethany, which is a great episode, and was 4 episodes before the show went on hiatus. And when TCGS went on hiatus, they doubled back and did classic episodes, which is where they did what we are doing, but better, and got the people who were on the shows to talk about it.
Because they too were on the shows, and just did a better job.
Though in the format is slightly different. We're going through in chronological order. They did it in more of a popcorn style.
Yeah, and is their podcast actually harder to listen to than ours at this point? I had trouble finding a working feed.
Oh, well, okay.
It's on like archive.org.
So once you're listening to it, great. There used to be a feed, and I think it's not there anymore for some reason. Maybe their network, the comedy network that they were on, might not be around anymore, but we found it on archive.org, so we'll link to that. On that one, the episodes aren't in chronological order, but there is a listing below that you can do to go through them in order.
So that's what we offer to you. Episodes that are in order.
Organizational skills and no iTunes feed are our secret weapons. But also, when the Chris Gethard show went to Fusion, they did the TCGS After Party, which is a similar show but was recorded right after at the bars where they were having the after party. And we listened to the final episode of Talkin' TCGS, which is where they talk about 18th century American gladiators.
Which was the first episode of TCGS that I saw.
Yeah.
Besides the live show
Yeah, you were there.
Outside Lands, which they talked about in that episode as well. Vacation Jason was there. I don't remember him. Remember being really, really freaked out by the screaming fans behind me who were screaming all sorts of weird things that I didn't understand. Cum jug.
Were they shouting, eat more butts?
Probably.
Because I think that was peak eat more butts era.
Probably.
I wasn't there. I couldn't make it for some reason.
It was Outside Lands. It's fucking ridiculous.
I think I was working too.
Yeah, no, the only reason I was there is because I was working a booth.
Yeah.
And the only reason I was at the Gethard show was because you were like, Emily, I will never talk to you again if you do not see the Chris Gethard show live at Outside Lands. And so I went. I was really freaked out by the human fish, especially. I don't know. Something about him weirded me out.
I was clearly right, though.
I also had the flu. I didn't know that I had the flu, but I had a pretty high fever. And we got a picture with Chris Gethard and sent that to you.
Yeah, you did.
And then a little while later, I watched a really terrible feed of 18th century American gladiators when it was on. It kept breaking up and none of my friends would watch it with me. And I was only watching it because I had like a monster crush on you. And it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I don't know why. I loved it. I didn't understand it, but I was like, I need to see more.
I think it is a really good introductory episode because it's pretty self-contained.
Yeah.
But I then also listened to the first episode of Talkin' TCGS where they explain how they were fans. Both of them were fans before they got on the show. And Papa Gethard is the guest.
Papa Geth himself.
Papa Geth himself, which they are very good at teasing because they go, our guest, who we're going to announce later, has been at every single stage show of the Chris Gethard show. It's like, is it Finelli? Like, who is it? And then it's Gethard. But he says that, Chris says, that excluding Vacation Jason from the early public access episodes was the biggest mistake he made.
I agree.
Because it's pretty deep into the public access run before he's actually on. He calls in. Mm-hmm. Like they recap when Jason from Staten Island called in, and then he said, actually, it's Jason from the island.
Yeah.
Which was an amazing call. We've
yeah.
talked about it on one of our normal episodes.
Ooh, Vacation Jason, you're the funniest, best part of the Chris Gethard show. I don't
Jason,
have my soundboard up.
But Jason was right.
Yes.
He is the funniest, best part of the Chris Gethard show.
But yeah, he's a really affable, interesting host. He in the Teens Talkin' TCGS, he does a very hilarious like dressing down of one of the teen hosts, who was like, I don't know. It's real fun. You should listen to it. It's very cute. They're doing a better job than us. Stop listening to this and start listening to that is all I'm trying to say.
I'd like you to listen to both if you can.
I apologize for my existence. I apologize for the things that I am creating. I would like to direct you to better things, and I would also like to recognize this moment as one of the reasons I'm obsessed with the Chris Gethard show.
Also, that's the exact opposite of the advice that Gethard gives in Lose Well. Don't apologize for your art.
Oh shit, I just did all the things wrong. I'm so sorry, Papa Geth. I failed you. Oh no. I almost went like line by line through his advice and fucked it up.
Was that you trying to be the Vacation Jason of Lose Well?
No. That was just me being a typical fan of the Chris Gethard show. I am not alone.
Speaking of something that is really the opposite of typical in every way, it's Ceremony, which is just like, it's
fucking
a real
weird.
trippy video. It's from 2016, and it's another Soloner and Blove Band collaboration.
Yeah, it's just Riley in a weird fucking outfit with a basketball and also a bunch of cool like culty imagery, like, you know, like a weird glass vial that's filled with a liquid, and then like a red liquid like goes into it and like does that like spooky liquid thing.
The makeup and costuming on this was by Merritt Christensen.
Oh yeah, and it's fucking
who,
amazing.
Yeah, did an amazing job.
Yeah. And it features Brooke Cumgees. Is that how that is pronounced?
I think so. We apologize, Brooke, if we're butchering your name. We are sorry.
Well, Brooke's awesome and plays a referee.
Yeah, Brooke is great in it.
There's no words.
No.
But everyone does a really good job of communicating exactly what's happening. And what's happening is apparently like a creepy ass, like spooky cultist winning at basketball through dark methods. Yeah. Number 14 on our list is Mission to ZYXX. It's probably pronounced Zix.
It's Zix.
Zix, episode 302, which was just a couple months ago. This is a Maximum Fun. Yes, this is a Maximum Fun podcast where improvisers pretend to be people on a spaceship that is escaping from a place. It's kind of like a Star Trek Farscape mashup, all improvised, kind of a la Hello from the Magic Tavern, but less like I'm just going to interview people. But yeah, so the crew goes to meet a hacker in his dorm room. They need help obfuscating.
Obfuscating.
It's a great word. If only I could say it. One of the crew members' identities, so that, I don't know, they can do crime and stuff. But he's great. His name is Flix something or other. But yeah, he's Flix and he's on the net. You could call him Netflix. You listened to this.
I know, but I was driving, so I was a little distracted.
They posit the name like Hulu as possibly a cool hacker name, which he rejects out of hand.
That's fair.
Yeah, he's a hacker kid. He can definitely help you out. He is an orphan by choice of a flyboy pilot who only left him his jacket. He had to fight his way into a dorm room, and he's been there ever since. He needs loud, aggressive techno music to hack properly, as you do.
Of course, yeah.
And you can tell by his headband, his glasses, his gloves, and the terrible state of his room that he doesn't like being told what to do. At a certain point, he's typing so fast. It's a good thing that he has his gloves on, you know. Otherwise, you'll get an injury.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't get that keyboard burn.
Yeah, and at a certain point while hacking, he needs to hold his keyboard like a musical instrument. I'm just like,
I do remember that part.
The imagery just gets me so much. I'm just like, yes. This is like a better version of that one movie. Fuck. The one where the kid goes into the VR.
Oh, Ready Player One?
Yes. I don't know why Ready Player... I did not see this movie.
No, I didn't see it either.
I've decided, though, that person is, like, the height of, like, techno, cool, weird shit. But, yeah, it's really good. It's even good out of context. I hadn't listened to any of the other episodes of this show as of last week when I listened to this one. I still haven't, but I do plan to.
Yeah, it was really good. I definitely want to check out some more.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. But yeah, he plays a kid. He does a voice. It's a high-pitched voice. Does a good job.
So we've already talked about this next one a little bit throughout the episode, but we broke out Halloween Vacation into its own distinct thing because Halloween Vacation, which was released on Valentine's Day 2018.
It's a full-ass music video.
And there was budget.
Hella produced. Multiple, like, actual backdrops, not even backdrops, like environs.
Yeah.
In which Jason does his rapping. CGP host Joe Rumroll is in it as one of the background folks.
He also, Short Ghost appears in this video. Short Ghost from the Chris Gethard show.
What? Who's Short Ghost? Is
Short
just
Ghost
a
is
Short Ghost?
a short ghost who has a Hawaiian bed sheet instead of a white bed
That
sheet.
was Short Ghost?
I don't know if it was the actual person inside of who was Short Ghost.
Okay.
But it is a blanket that is replicating Short Ghost and does the Short Ghost dance.
I fucking love Short
So
Ghost.
the character of Short Ghost is in this video.
I embroidered a patch with Short Ghost on it.
Oh yeah,
The Night of Short Ghost.
that was so good.
I'm still pretty proud of it.
And this video also has a version of the Master of Terror, who, unlike his version on TCGS, isn't like wearing a bandana on his head. He's a full-on Vincent Price style sort of horror host who looks a lot like
With like the pencil mustache.
He has the pencil mustache. He has the golden ascot.
Yeah.
And the velvet coat. He looks a lot like Count Leonardo this time, which is, I think, very cool.
Yeah, definitely. He's in a coffin that says VIP. He goes on to some graves and writes like "Rip Tide."
Yeah. And then he also references something Murph said in 18th century American Gladiators.
Yeah, which, I only realized because I listened to that podcast. Something is colder than a witch's teat, which, as everyone will know from Murph's character, the witch hunter on 18th century American Gladiators, is one of the ways that you can tell a witch is if their teat is cold. Yeah. So everyone feel your teats right now and find out if you're a witch. I'm looking at you, Forrest.
I'm a nomad.
Yeah.
And then we actually,
Oh yeah, we have a
despite
secret
having
16th.
said 15 all this time, we have a secret 16th suggestion for a thing you should definitely check out, which is Extremely Serious Wrestling.
With an X.
Riley plays Sean from Michaels, the Art Make Kid, which is a great reference and pun on Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, which that was just so beautiful.
And comedy wrestling is a thing that Riley clearly loves a ton.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he mentioned it in every interview podcast that I listened to of his.
Well, and
his weight is 10 crates of popsicle sticks. What?
Yeah. And when I went to the Extremely Serious Wrestling website, it listed his official weight as 10 crates of popsicle sticks. He hails from Michael's Arts and Crafts, and his signature moves are Sweet Chin Visual Arts, which is a reference to someone's finisher in WWE, which is Sweet Chin Music. And he has the Macaroni Elbow, which I assume is a reference to the People's Elbow, which was one of the Rock's finishing moves. And it's just such a wonderful character. Like, we were watching his promo Hall of Paint with Sean from Michaels, which, while watching it, I was like, oh, he's like Bob Ross crossed with Ric Flair, because he's this like super snobby heel, which is the name for a villain wrestler who you're supposed to hate.
But doing Bob Ross. I don't know wrestling. This is why Forrest is explaining these things. Anyone who's like, why is it explaining things? I don't know these things. I didn't get these puns, but I still really heavily enjoyed watching it.
And he calls himself the Crafty Boy, which is a reference to the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And he even does like a version of his iconic woo. I love that it's like 2 episodes. We also did the woo on the recent episode of the full show that we recorded.
Oh yeah.
And
you did the woo.
I did the woo.
You did.
I did the woo. That is an important clarification.
But you can also see him, see a whole match.
Yeah.
Which is him versus Mr. Bubbles. And it's really fun. And I appreciate how they don't injure themselves.
Yeah, I liked that they were careful and no one's getting hurt in this version.
But it's still very comedic and a lot of physical slapstick comedy.
Yeah, the slapstick was really good. And Extremely Serious Wrestling was actually started by Michael Fesh, who was flown out to New York City by Gethard because he wanted to give someone the weekend of a lifetime, and he chose Fesh. And then he later moved out and started XSW in character as Serious Justin Angermeyer, which is just a perfect name.
Yeah.
But yeah, the match between Sean from Michaels, and Mr. Bubbles was so good. And it seemed like it was filmed on like a cell phone or some sort of handheld camera, because you just hear the person who's holding the camera doing color commentary on the match.
Oh, it's great.
It is so good. It's such a punch up. It's like the match is also great, but it adds this like real fun element of it feels like you're there.
You can actually, it's a really well done cell phone video, I guess.
Yeah, no,
They're great now. Like, you can really see it well. The sound is great. Like, it's nice.
It's real good.
It's a good watch. Good watch. And then we have some special mentions of stuff we watched and wanted to mention but didn't want to like get the fuck into. Because we've been talking for a little while. And so, okay, so my other concern with this episode is, you know, we're a Vacation Jason household.
Sure.
We were both super, super excited for this one. And I'm like, damn, not only are we changing up the format to like better serve the showcasing of these comedians, but this is a person we're super into. Are we in some way going to be shortchanging the other hosts that I also really loved, but like didn't get as good episodes, that don't have the same level of excitement from us because we've just never been exposed to them before? I feel like we're playing TCGS favorites, and I feel bad, Forrest. But I also feel good because I just watched a bunch of Riley Soloner videos.
I think you're overthinking this. I mean...
Like, literally no one has listened to these. Maybe Keith. Maybe Keith Haskell.
I mean, I don't know who is listed. I just know numbers. But I think it's fine.
Plenty of Russian bots are, like, really annoyed right now with how we're playing favorites.
I mean, they played favorites with General Hux, so you know that's really hypocritical of them if that's their standard that we can't. I mean, I don't think we're playing favorites. I wouldn't say with that. I wouldn't view it through that lens.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, we're gonna be able to do Carmen Christopher again,
right? Because he's gonna come on 9/11, and
the other problem is that a lot of them are stand-ups.
Right.
Like I've been following Christy Cello pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like loving her Instagrams.
Her Instagrams are amazing
because they're hilarious, but I don't get to like see her shows. Like new shorts of her aren't coming out, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, the fact that we live in California does sort of influence what we get to highlight because we're not there in the comedy scene of New York.
I also like my brain turns off at 10. So I probably wouldn't be able to see these people's show anyways. TBH. I'm a lame comedy fan. But okay, well, speaking of brains turning off after 10, let's get to our special mentions before I turn into a pumpkin. Choose Your Stupid Adventure. It's really cool.
Yeah, you have a conversation with a character Riley is playing named Charles, and you control the conversation via the YouTube annotations. So he like says something, and then you get two options, and you can click between how he reacts to you.
Yeah, which is just such a cool concept.
I love the bringing that kind of interactivity to YouTube.
Yeah,
which is normally such a lean back.
Yeah.
Thing.
And Riley's the perfect person to choose for that too, because he already looked like he does being a robot super well.
Yeah, and just he has a lot of experimental stuff in general. Like that's part of what I've loved about delving into his YouTube stuff is there's so much experimentation, and he's not afraid to just try something new and see how it goes and see how it works.
Yeah. We also wanted to highlight Modern Dating, which is a series that was produced for IFC's Comedy Crib. Riley starred in 5 of these. They're all about 2 minutes long. They have no dialogue. It's all like physical comedy with like jokes about dating, like him trying to take a sexy pic of himself. And, you know, the girl trying to leave the apartment after clearly a fun night, but without waking him up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as
very
we
cute.
mentioned, you should also check out Hi Riley, which is a 10-part YouTube series that he did where it's him addressing directly to camera. And they're all very good.
So, what I'm going to be watching tomorrow, you mean?
Yeah, no, tomorrow you'll be watching Hi Riley.
Yeah, so watch Hi Riley with me tomorrow before Wednesday.
Yeah, it's much more of a vlog than a
His
lot of the
show.
stuff
Oh,
he's
cute.
done, which is what's really cool about it.
Yeah.
Because it feels more like a lot of his stuff it's all great, but this is one of the ones that's really feels YouTube-y because it's him playing with sort of the YouTube conventions. Mm-hmm. And so definitely check it out. We didn't include it in our 16, but it is definitely worth seeing.
Yeah. And you can stream Extremely Serious Wrestling on independentwrestling.tv.
And the link is going to be in the show notes because it's also on Extremely Serious Wrestling's website.
Yeah, so absolutely check that out. I know that I am going to. And make sure to check out Riley Solomon's episode, CLON.
Soloner.
Fuck.
You got it right so much, and then you right
I
at the
got
end.
it right so much. And I've been typing Solomon like constantly. I don't know. It's one letter off.
No, it's
I also
it's,
typed in Jason a bunch of times.
it's more than one letter off.
In my notes for fastness of typing, I just put Jason. Even though Riley is fewer letters, in my head,
No, it's the exact same number of letters.
oh. My brain has turned off.
It is 10:15 right now, so that explains it.
I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin, but y'all should check out Riley Soloner's episode. I'm so sorry.
This is such a
This is like, I hope that this train wreck has been as entertaining as it would have otherwise been were it not a train wreck. A la the Chris Gethard show. It is only what we can all aspire to.
yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I hope so. I hope so, dear listeners.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, old paint can.
Speaking of our hopes, sort of a segue that works. What do you expect to see this
Oh.
week in CLON?
Shit, we have an even another one. Well, let's what do you think first, Forrest?
Okay. Yeah, I'll go first. I think I'll go first. No, I expect to see. I think that Rex really hit it on the head. Rex deserves this. I think that it'll probably. I think a blend of
Like a
this
digital
sorta-
savior.
Yeah, I think he'll be like a digital savior who's gonna either liberate us from the system, but using a more religious idea.
Or like say he's liberating us from the system, but then actually putting us into his system.
Yeah, there easily could be some last minute twist. I also saw, and unfortunately I don't remember where I saw this, so I apologize to the person who said this. It was in Geth Heads. It was in the Geth Heads group. It would be funny if it turned out to be Vacation Jason, and the reason he hasn't explained CLON is it's a Vacation Jason hour. I actually don't want that. If that's what it is, it'll be great. But I'm like really excited to see him play in this like cyberpunk space.
Yeah.
Because that's been like the big revelation that has been some of my favorite stuff from
Yeah.
his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be some sort of cyberpunk messiah.
Yeah.
What do you think it's gonna be, Emily Pineapple?
Cyber dicks.
Oh, cyber dicks.
Yep. Cyber dicks. Full frontal penis.
So
But like cyber style. Probably shot by David Blovband.
I mean, so you think it's gonna be like
So it'll be like real trippy, like with cool lights
Right.
and like random parts of New York, like very cinematic, but also cyber penises.
cyber penises? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm probably right more than cyber dicks, but I don't know. We got pretty close last week.
We really did.
We heard a lot. We heard about dicks in very good specific detail. So you might be right this time.
No, I think I definitely am. And you should all see me vindicated on Wednesday, this Wednesday, August
14th.
14th. August 14th. CLON.
CLON. We are skipping a concert we already bought tickets to watch CLON.
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 This is why all the juice had to go up in the sky and come back down. Yeah.